Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So we are back with another duping video. I actually started like my whole duped series a while ago, and I have transitioned it a little bit more to duping palettes that are being released right now. If you guys couldn't have guessed by the title already, today we are duping the Huda Gold Obsessions palette. It is a 9-pan palette from Huda Beauty, and it released on Cult Beauty. It was like one of their like special releases. It's a holiday limited edition release. We're going to be duping it with 2 palettes today. I chose these 2 palettes because I'm pretty sure if you have these palettes in your collection, you could dupe the Gold Obsessions with these in your collection. The 2 palettes that I decided to use to dupe the Gold Obsessions palette in my collection were Blush Crush from Colourpop. This is a $14 eyeshadow palette. And then you have Too Faced the Chocolate Gold Bar palette. This is a $49 palette. Now the Huda Beauty Gold Obsessions retails for about $27 in UK pounds. So when it converts, it's about $31. I haven't been able to find the Gold Obsessions anywhere else except for Cult Beauty. And if there are other places where you can find it in the US with US pricing, I will leave a link down below. We have here my swatches for the Gold Obsessions palette, and I wanted to tell you guys how I got to this point. So looking at the swatches were really hard to tell because each individual shade doesn't actually have a name. So figuring out what the name was compared to the shade that was on the swatches that Huda provided, it was really, really hard to do. I actually ended up looking at comparisons of the palette and photos that were taken of the palette, and then also of the actual pans and what they looked like in pan, and trying to get a good comparison that way. So Huda designed this palette. It is kind of a mauve goldeny toned palette, and it's very like holiday-y to me, but it's a very like everyday palette as well. The packaging is what really drew me in. It's so pretty. It's like marbly gold, really, really pretty. And then I was looking at it, looking at the color story, and I was like, I think I might have some of these palettes, like some palettes that I have. One that particularly came to mind was the Blush Crush one, because this one is completely mauve. But it doesn't have like some of those gold tones in it. To dupe this palette, it was actually kind of interesting because, again, the swatches just don't match up the way that you would want them to. So the first shade in the palette looks almost like duochrome-y. It's like pinky with a little bit of a yellow shift in it. So the first one that I chose for that one was Blossom Up, which is in the Blush Crush palette, and this one has that same shift in it from pink to like a yellowy orange shift. The next one is just like a peachy skin tony color, and I thought the 2 shades that might match really well were the one from Blush Crush and then also Lovesick, but I think Lovesick is a better comparison of that color. The next one is like hard to explain because it's kind of gold, but it kind of has that mauve undertone. And for that metallic looking shade, because the Blush Crush doesn't come with a lot of metallics, I actually dug into the chocolate gold palette, and the one that really looks similar is called Rich Girl. Now this has kind of like it's like a pink, but almost like a brown, but almost like a silver undertone, which is what this shade looks like in the Huda Beauty palette. Next one is just a super deep chocolatey brown in the swatches. Obviously you can tell what that one is because it's really the only super deep dark toned chocolatey color, but it even has a little bit of a berry tone undertone. For my swatches, I used the chocolatey color. It's called Cocoa Truffle out of the chocolate gold palette. And then if you wanted to make it look more berry tone just a little bit, you could use Blush Wine out of the Blush Crush palette and you would get that color. It's kind of like like I said, it's almost like a really dark burgundy, and you could probably almost get away with Blush Wine, but if you want a little bit of that brown undertone, then you would have to mix the 2 together. Right smack dab in the middle is a true gold color. It's not yellowy undertoned, it's just like true gold. So I was looking at the Too Faced palette, and this has a couple of true golds in here. One of them is the chocolate gold. This one has more of a yellow undertone, but then you have gold dipped. This is the color that matches the Huda one so perfectly, so well, because it's not quite that yellow. It's still got more of that brownish undertone in it. And then you have another mauve color. This mauve color is more of a pinky mauve color, but so it's just a little bit darker of a color than Lovesick. And the mauve color that I think really matches it well is called Cheek to Cheek in the Blush Crush palette, really, really similar color. It is a very mauvey color, a very pinky color. That one might have a little bit more of a pinky purple than what this one does, but it's so, so close. Would you be able to tell the difference? Maybe not. Then the next one is like a pink shimmer color. And the only one I was thinking that could really, really match it really, really well was kind of like a combination of two colors that come out of these two palettes. So I was thinking it would be a great combination of Pop the Bottle, which is a Super Shock shadow, and it's white with a little bit of a flare to it. So I'll show you guys. Super Shocks are very hard to swatch, but this one is kind of like, it'd be a great eyeshadow topper. And then I was thinking Classy and Sassy out of the Chocolate Gold palette could be layered with that, and you would get that really nice like champagne-y, like pinky color shimmer shade. And then if you just want that really white shimmer that's next to that color, you would just use Pop a Bottle out of Blush Crush. And then last but not least is that yellowy gold color, which is the other one that you can really tell from the swatches like what it is. And that one is the Chocolate Gold color out of the Too Faced palette. Definitely, yes, like so good. So here are the shades here. This is basically the Gold Obsessions palette. You can barely see the Super Shock, which is swatched here, but I think it has a very similar effect as the color in the Huda Beauty palette. Super similar color story, really, really similar shades. If you already have these two palettes in your collection, you can dupe the Gold Obsessions palette that was just released by Huda Beauty. Now, if you don't have these two palettes in your collection, or you don't have similar palettes with similar color stories, then you cannot dupe the Huda Beauty Gold Obsessions palette. Go check out Kendra Morgan Official. She does have a single shadows dupe of the Huda Beauty Gold Obsessions palette, and you guys can go see like what she used to dupe this palette with single shadows. I don't actually have single shadows to dupe it with, but I felt that maybe a lot of you might have Blush Crush and the Chocolate Gold palette in your collection, and I wanted to see like how we could dupe it and if we could dupe it. And I think that these shades are very, very similar. Together, these two palettes are definitely more than what you would purchase for the Huda Gold Obsessions, but you also get more shades, obviously. So, I mean, half the shades came out of this palette, which it's a 9-pan palette, and then half the shades came out of this palette. And then also mixing some of the shades together, you would also get that desired effect that the Gold Obsessions has. So $14, $49, and you have over $60 worth of eyeshadow here, or you could spend the roughly $27 to $30, depending on if you can buy it in the US or not, and you could get the Gold Obsessions palette. That one is limited edition, which means they will not be restocking it. And as far as the Blush Crush goes, this one is still on the Colourpop website, at least last time I checked. And obviously Chocolate Gold is one of the staple products from Too Faced. You get, you know, a whole bunch more shades. You're spending more, twice as much, but you do get more shades. I admire Huda Beauty's work. This is in no way like to disregard that work that is done. I just wanted to make a wallet-friendly video, pull out some eyeshadow palettes that possibly you have that you could dupe this eyeshadow palette with and, you know, save a little bit of money. So if you guys like this video, subscribe if you like these duped videos, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!